Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. It's time now to review newspapers headlines with our ombudsman of This Day and Arise Media Group and This Day Newspaper Limited's Group Executive Director, Mr. Kaide Komolafe. Welcome, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, KK. Good to have you on the show today.
Pleased to be here.
Yeah, we'll give you a combo for today. There will be 3 different papers, of course, with This Day Style. And of course, we'll start with This Day newspaper. The lead story for today's This Day on Sunday says Tinubu, Nigeria open to talks with Guinea, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, despite coups. And the writers try to illuminate the lead story, expresses readiness to host African Central Bank, and AU kicks against exorbitant military spending on conflict and terrorism. The story on top of that says, relinquish power now if Nigeria's problems overwhelm you. PDP governors tell APC. I'm sure that our good friend, Mr. Anokwasa, will vehemently disagree with that admonition coming from PDP governors to APC. And on top of that story, just below the masthead, Idausa wins Edo APC governorship primary. Senator Okpebolo emerges winner in parallel election. Looks like we have something that looks like 2 winners in Edo State. Has been generating a lot of reactions on social media. On top of the masthead, SGF, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, we will soon overcome current economic crisis. Soon is the key word there, KK. How soon Nigerians would like to know. And on the window, oil sector lags as manufacturing, banking gets lion's share of foreign investment in Q4 of 2023. Those are the stories on the cover of today's This Day. Oji, what do we have for This Day Style?
Nigeria's first ever nominee for the Oscars, Misan Harriman. From university dropout to Oscar nominee, a huge congratulations to Misan Harriman, who, turned into a film maker after, his acclaim being a photographer for a couple of, for about a decade or even more. And, he sat down with Judita da Silva for an exclusive interview. And, it's airing on Arise Play as we speak. Yes. I did see a short clip of that beautiful interview by Judita da Silva. You can catch that on Arise Play. Congratulations to Misan. I hope that he gets wins. Oscars.
That's what everybody's rooting for. And to also add, Oji, that, in celebrating this creative and courageous gentleman, his pictures are also on today's cover of This Day. Like you said, from university dropout to Oscar nominee. That's the lead picture, not just on the cover of This Day Star, but on This Day and newspaper itself.
It's amazing that the lead actor in the film is David Oyelowo, who is another renowned Nigerian actor, and the huge collaboration will be a great victory for Nigeria as a whole.
All right.
Adeswa? So we have The Nation on this Sunday, the big story there. More state unveils plans to tackle food scarcity. Katsina governor signs executive order, sets up a task force. Sule, what Nasarawa is doing to address high cost of living. And the third subheading there is that, again, PDP governors attack APC over economy and others. Above the masthead there, we have that Edo story, Edo 2024. Confusion as APC parallel primaries produce 2 winners. The rest of that story is on page 5. And another story next to that, bandits kill 9, abduct ex-CBN director, 34 others.
Fantastic. Shaitan, if you can pull up
all right, then very quickly, we have the Daily Trust on a Sunday, the major headline there, the cost of living crisis, Nigeria, others at risk of social unrest. That's by the AFTB. Quit if you are feeling overwhelmed. PDP governors tell Tinubu presidency mom. Just above the masthead there, federal government summons Dangote, Boa, Lafarge, others over rising cement price. And just by the side there, Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali announced plan to form a tri-state confederation. And of course, we see just under there, part of the major headline story, despite 23 states' security outfits, insecurity festers. We're seeing banditry, kidnapping, robberies on the rise. Outfits part of restructuring process. And then there, the final quote, governors should address socio-economic issues causing crimes. I'm going to now throw it to Mr. KK. You have a plethora of papers, please. Break it down for us.
Thank you, Shaitan. I think broadly, the front pages, should not be surprising today because, as they say, the media, reflect, the reality that it will report what is happening. That is, that it captures the socio-economic situation in the country, largely, and. From a political economy perspective, it should not be surprising that in trying to discuss the socio-economic situation, it is not just a question of technical economic discussion, but also a political discussion, because we are dealing with a political economy essentially. What could be said from, look at the front page of this day, the statements, the PDP governors. Look at the warning from AFDB, on the front page of the Trust. Look at the front page of the Punch, about the threat of labor, Vanguard, and the rest. So what I'm saying that, there's a thread, that runs through all these stories. Now, what should be said about this? That there's something to be said, both to the government as well as its critics, and of course, the legitimate opposition, coming from other political parties. The thing to be said to both sides is that they should exit the campaign mode. It's like the tone of the criticism of the government and also the response, largely from the government, to as if elections have not ended. Should exit the campaign mode and now come now to what should be taking place now. It should be rigorous policy debates, in which case, the opposition doing the legitimate thing of questioning, the way government implements its policies, or even the choice of its policies, and also the government to, of course, as it's right now, also to defend, those policies. So what should be having is robust, well-informed, policy debate, not, political slogan, And while this is very important, is that, in Nigeria, maybe because we're having a presidential system of government, if we are to be a parliamentary system of government, this point I'm making perhaps will not arise. Because, for instance, in the parliamentary, say Britain, the Prime Minister at 11 a.m. every day has to be in the Parliament, and answer questions, from the opposition. That is, on daily basis, the Prime Minister has to defend his policies. On daily basis, the opposition will have to point out, parliamentarians, from various constituencies, will, bring up issues, So there is nothing. That is the way it should be. There is nothing about it. But like I said, in doing this, the emphasis will be on policy. The choice of those of the policies, and also the efficacy of its implementations. The opposition that is questioning government policy will not just be a question of just being dismissive. For instance, the PDP governors, asking the president to resign. That is not saying much, you know. The thing should be that, okay, your policy the monetary policies being implemented, this is the alternative that we have. This would have been done better. You know, on the fuels, the consequences of the fuel subsidy removal, this is where we should, we would have done it if we were to be.
There's a caveat there, KK. They say he's overwhelmed. You know, he may choose to.
Well, that I'm saying that that is cynical, and that is not and that is not helpful enough. You know, because when you are saying that they should resign, you are just just making a political statement. The thing is not that they should resign. A government that has not, the government presented a program, you know, to be implemented in 4 years. The government has done just barely 8 months. So you are asking it to resign. Rather, instead of asking to resign, it should be that, okay, this is the way you should have done it, you know, so that we will achieve a result. You know, we can't be having election every day. So the thing should be that, for the next 4 years, you know, people, it should be the policies, you know, that should be questioned. You know, not the legitimacy of the government, not that, you know, the government should resign. And of course, you know, like I said, while those criticizing the government, especially, you know, the legitimate, you know, political opposition, should question, you know, policies and provide, you know, alternatives, you know, which in some cases the government may actually, you know, find them, you know, more, to be more efficacious, you know, as a solution, you know, to the problem. Then the government now, in responding, also, this is not the time for government to be, the government spokesman to be combative, but also to defend their policies and also be persuasive, you know, and to try to mobilize public support, you know, for it, you know. So I think both sides, you know, we just have to exit the campaign mode and start discussing policies, you know. And what we have on display, it is not that. Absolutely. And that is very unfortunate, yeah.
Absolutely, Mr. Komolafe. I wish we had more time on newspaper review today. I think that you hit the nail on the head. They should discuss more policies and campaign is over. I hope we'll see you next week.